Okay. Shall start? Okay. So, hi everyone, good evening. Welcome back to our series of rapid revision in social sciences. So, myself Annu Joshi, I'll be continuing with your rapid revision series in agricultural extension. So far, whoever taken the course of Agri-Addict Master course, you might have known, like myself, along with Ridisha, we have been taking the course for nearly 1 year as of now. So this is like the time you are nearing, like nearly reaching to your examination within very few days, less than 1 month, you will be writing the examination. So this whole purpose of the revision series is to just like remind you of all the portions that you have already gone through. I'm sure that you might have covered it already once or twice or thrice. So it's just to remind you which portions are a little bit more important to you, your examination, and like which portions you have to stress a little bit more, because every time when you study, the last minute revisions helps a lot. It's not the unknown factors or the unknown names or unknown books. That's most of the time that is not will make a problem to you. Most of the time it's the memory that is of the basic things which you think that I know, that you may fail to revision it again. So to avoid that, we are continuing with the rapid revision series. Okay, somebody was asking about the PYQ analysis also. Definitely that also will be done by the vendors. Okay, so in the last class, I think we have covered the fundamentals of extension, communication, and entrepreneurship. These were the 3 chapters. In that, I told you fundamentals of extension is of very, very important, and that is the basic course, basic chapter from which so many questions will be asked. And same way, communication also. The methods or models of communication, the channels, elements, and all are very important. Communication and fundamentals are equally important. And today we are seeing about the adoption and diffusion of innovation and rural sociology and psychology. In that, adoption of diffusion of innovation, the chapter is very, very important. Every time questions, so many questions will come from this chapter, as well as rural sociology. Compared to psychology, from sociology, so many questions will come. And the extension program planning, that is not a chapter that to be so much of worried, because it's basic and it is easy also. But the other 2 chapters, the first one, diffusion of innovations, and sociology and rural sociology and psychology, these chapters are very, very important. Okay, so if anyone is newly watching, myself Annu Joshi, I'm currently doing PhD in agricultural extension in IRA New Delhi, and I have completed my graduation from Kerala Agriculture University and completed my masters from National Dairy Research Institute, Karnal. And I have secured All India rank 20 in JRF examination and AR 7 in PhD examination. I have qualified UGC net with JRF as well as ASRB net in agricultural extension. Okay, so we'll come to the first chapter, diffusion and adoption of innovation. So every time we'll say, like in extension, we'll generally deal with how we are like asking the farmers to adopt a technology. So how that process is happening. So technology is generally an application of an innovation in like especially in terms of agricultural extension, if we are saying. So how the farmers are taking, they will get to know about an innovation and then they will be adopting it. They will making use of it. So what happens in between? That is all happened like discussed in this chapter, diffusion and adoption of innovation. I'm sure you might be familiar with the book of Rogers, Everett M. Rogers, Diffusion and Adoption of Innovation. That is the basic books. But for giraffe level, you don't need to read it. But remembering the name is important. Rogers. I think you will see a lot of concepts with his name, because this is the basic books that we all will be studying. Till now also we are studying in the same books only. Okay, so there are certain key concepts which you have to remember for your exam, which is, so basically we have to understand what is the difference between adoption and diffusion. So that is the basic key terms, right? So adoption is basically about a single person. So you got to know about an Agri-Addict platform and you started to decide, or you started to use this Agri-Addict platform. So that is what happens in that adoption process. So it's a decision to make full use of an innovation as the best course of action available. And in case of JRF coaching, you might have heard about many uh, platforms like a Gradic. There might be many other platforms also, but you have decided to start or like take classes in a Gradic. So this is actually the adoption process that happened. Okay, so it's a continuous process. This is not a static process. Okay, I go to know about it, then I am adopting it. No, in between some processes are happening and it will be continuous. It can be changing also later. So it's a continuous process and a mental process. So because it's around an individual, what is happening inside an individual, his thoughts and his decisions. So it's a mental process. Whereas in opposing to that, what is diffusion? Diffusion is what happens in a social system. Okay, so the process by which an innovation is communicated through certain channels over time among the members of a social system. Suppose in just to understand, you can think about your college. Okay, so whatever process you have gone through to adopt this platform will be entirely different from how you and your friends are taking it, right? So there is a process through which the innovation, like for example, this platform is communicated through certain channels. You might have known from about this classes or this YouTube class and all, maybe from randomly when you're scrolling in Instagram, maybe from your friends, maybe from your teachers, or like any other friend in some other university. So through different channels, you will be getting to know about an innovation over time. Maybe you heard it today, maybe you heard it yesterday, or maybe in the last year among the members of the social system. Okay, so this is about diffusion. So adoption, you can think it at an individual level and it's a mental process, whereas diffusion, which happens in a social system. Okay, how maybe I can say in your class, maybe 20 people has taken, has enrolled in this course as new in like when 1 year before when we are starting the class, and then maybe a 50 people have joined in between. Maybe after 2-3 months they go to know the reviews about the other students, and then they started to adopt it. And then the rest of the 30 people, some of the 30 people has taken enrolled in the class at the end of the examination. So when they go to know that it is okay, you can join if you want to practice and all, then they join. So this happens. So among, when we consider all the members of the social system, how the process is happening, that is the diffusion. So when you analyze this sentence itself or the definition itself, you will understand there are 4 key elements in diffusion which is important. One is the innovation. And second one is the channel means through what the message is being transferred, and the time and social system. So see, or sometimes the question comes as what is the difference of diffusion and communication. Okay, communication is also something happens in a like among the people. Diffusion is also something happens in it happens in between people. So what is the difference? So in diffusion, what is special means there is an element of innovation will be there, which is not mandatory in communication. See, I am communicating to you. If this is new to you, whatever I am telling, if this is seems new to you, and innovation is something that is perceived as new by the user. So if you have never heard of this adoption diffusion or diffusion of 4 elements, this is an innovative information to you. Okay, if you know it already, this is not an innovation. So that is the difference. Okay, so only when the message or the like idea which is transferring between two people or in among people, if the innovation element is coming, then only we can say this is a diffusion. And also the element of time is also important in diffusion. Okay, so that is the basic difference between diffusion and communication. Diffusion is a type of communication. Okay, so what is innovation? So I think we don't have time to explain each and everything in very detail, as you can understand, because we will be covering 3 chapters today. So just for understanding, we will be covering only the key concepts, okay, whatever important to you. And one is innovation. So among this element, one important element is innovation. Innovation is, as I said before, an idea, practice or object that is perceived as new by an individual or an unit of adoption. So you heard about the aggregate platform. If it is new to you, then it is an innovation to you. But if it is not new to you, it is not an innovation. So the key difference, or like to whom whether it is new, that is the key difference. If if for the end users or the target population, if that is new, then only it becomes a innovation. Okay. Okay, so that is about innovation. So when you talk about innovation, there are many things. There are different components of innovation, different parts of innovations are there. But the important portion for examination is the perceived attributes of innovation. I think you might have already known perceived attributes of innovation. There are mainly, we say, there are 5 perceived attributes of innovation. One is the relative advantage. Relative advantage means up to what extent. See, these are perceived attributes of innovation. Like as I said before, whether the innovation, how the innovation is perceived by the people, okay, how that is becoming a new thing or how that will be affecting them in a new way. Perceived means according to each and every person. Okay, so relative advantage is the degree to which an innovation is perceived as better than the idea it supersedes. So you heard about some other technology before. Up to what degree this new technology that is introducing is like better to you. So that is a relative advantage. And then we have compatibility. Compatibility means up to what extent the innovation is consistent with the existing values or past experience or needs of the adopters. Okay, compatibility can be like it can be cultural compatibility as well as it can be situational compatibility. Situational compatibility means like if I am introducing a new high yielding variety to one region, if that variety is not belongs to the agroclimatic situation of that particular region, we cannot say it is compatible, right? So that is a situational compatibility. Whereas cultural compatibility means, I think the classical example given in the textbook itself is like, if you are going to a region where the a particular religion or like the Muslim religion is more, then you cannot promote the piggery there, right? So similarly, the culture and belief system and value system of the people should be considered before going there and giving a technology. And then the complexity, up to what extent the innovation seems or perceived to be difficult to use, that is the complexity. And then we have the trialability, up to a degree to which an innovation may be experimented with on a limited basis. So there will be some technologies which can be, say for example, a new variety of seed. So we can give like for 40 cents, you can try this new seed and then you can decide upon whether you want to use this new technology or not. Okay, so the extent to which the innovation may be experimented on a trial basis, that is trialability. And the degree to which the results are visible to others is the observability. When you apply nitrogen fertilizers, the effect on the plant will be very visible. It will, along the vegetative part will be growing faster. So the results are much visible. So we can say the observability. You can observe the results very clearly. So that is like some of the basic attributes of innovation. And yeah, in that only complexity is negatively related with the adoption process. Okay. So which means that all other, if relative advantage or compatibility or trialability or observability, if these attributes are increasing, means the chance of adoption is also increasing. Whereas if complexity increases, the chance of adoption will be reduced. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Then one concept is there that is called innovation negativism. Innovation negativism is a term given by Arsenberg and Niehoff. Arsenberg and Niehoff. Okay, so they said innovation negativism is nothing but the degree to which an innovation failure conditions a client system to reject future innovation. So suppose you have taken or you have seen something related to this one particular innovation. So you understood that somehow the innovation got failed. So when the farmers understanding that, okay, this innovation is not good, okay, they propose from the, maybe suppose from this official, they have given the seed, but it is not giving yield. So I will not be using any new technology said by them anymore. So that can be called as an innovation negativism. Maybe the degree of innovation negativism can vary from person to person. Some people may think, okay, just that one technology failed does not mean that we can't trust these people anymore. Some people will say that I will not trust them anymore in my life. So the degree to which you are rejecting a future innovation because of a previous innovation failure, that is called as innovation negativism. Okay. And then the other important portion, that is the adoption process. Adoption process is very important, which says that from the starting point, from the time a person getting to aware about a particular technology till he started to make full use of that technology, that is the adoption process. Okay. So in Ryan and some names are there that you have to remember. Ryan and Gross in 1943, they told that the adoption process is not a one step process. Okay, I started to get to know that, okay, there is a platform called Aggregate which is taking classes, and next second I am enrolling. No, that is not happening. There are certain stages which is involved in between. That is the that because the process occurs in stages, that is told by Ryan and Gross. And then many authors coming after Ryan and Gross, many authors have involved, contributed many things to this adoption process. Okay, so Wilkening has told adoption involves a process called decision. So adoption involves a process of decision is told by Wilkening. And there are so many authors, you can see many authors are there who gave many models of adoption process, but we generally follow the adoption process which is occurs in 5 stages proposed by the North Central Rural Sociology Subcommittee for the study of diffusion of farm practices. Okay, so this Ryan and Gross, this Wilkening, the Singh and Parikh, many people, Rahim and all, many people have proposed different types of like different stages in the adoption process, but we generally follow the process of given by NCRSS. Okay, so they told that the adoption process occurs in 5 stages, that is AIETA. This is the short form that you have to remember. AIETA. What is AIETA? That is awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adoption. So awareness is the time, like the stage in which you first get to know about the technology. You are getting the preliminary information about the in the awareness, but you are no more interested to ask for anything else. Okay, just you were watching Instagram and you suddenly get to know that there is a platform exists. That is the awareness. Whereas you come to interest, interest means the person started to develop an interest and they seeks for additional information. Okay, they are actively going, you will be searching in Google. So what is this? What can be the use of it? That is the interest stage. And in evaluation stage, generally what happens when you listen about the term evaluation, you may think that after applying something, we will evaluate, right? That's what we will generally study in the program planning subject and all. But when you come to the adoption, like diffusion of adoption course, you have to remember evaluation completely refers to a mental process. Okay, it is a mental application of idea. I am just thinking, okay, I will be investing my like this much of amount to this class, but and this much of my time to this class, whether it will be beneficial for me, so whether I will utilize this same time for something better or not. So that kind of mental evaluation will be happening after that, and then they will give a trial. Okay, trial means you will just maybe you will make use of the idea in a small scale. Maybe one class you will see, maybe one class you will see from your friend and all. So somehow you will get a trial out of that, and finally he will make decide to make use of full use of a course. That is the adoption. So among all the options are provided, all the technologies are provided, the person chose, the person decided to make use of this particular innovation, that is the adoption stage. So this is what happens in this adoption process as told by this NCRSS. Okay, so as I told before, many different authors are there who proposed different stages in this process. And then one another contributor, that is Singh. Yeah, he's here. So Singh told that the stages of adoption is dynamic and it's not static. He told that it is dynamic, not static, which means, see, even though 5 clear steps are here, we cannot say that it should happen one after another, one after another, one after another. We can't say that. It is always, it can be changing. It's dynamic. So a person, maybe he get to know about this, he may directly go with the evaluation part without much like information also. Maybe he may jump 2 or 3 steps in between. He may directly think that, okay, first I will give a trial, then only I will decide which to follow. Okay, so this can be skipped. The steps can be merged, the steps can be overlapped, the steps can be skipped. So all this will happen. So the stages of adoption is dynamic, not static. And And Singh and Parikh, their like model is also very famous. That is commonly told as the need T. Okay, need T. So in that, two elements are important and new. One is the need. The first one is need. Okay, the need, and then awareness to interest. And this D belongs to the deliberation. So like in mentally, he is trying to put like check whether this particular technology will be beneficial or not, the deliberation stage. So two stages are extra in the Singh and Parikh model. That is, one is need, and then is another one is deliberation. Generally, when you see the D in this need T, you may think that that is the decision. It is not decision. This is deliberation. Okay, deliberation. And then trial. After trial only, the evaluation comes according to YP Singh's. Okay, Singh. So trial, evaluation, and finally the adoption happens. So this is the another model given by Singh and Parikh actually. And then we will see some other concept, that is the innovation decision process. So just now we have seen the adoption process, and now we are going to the innovation decision process. So what is it and how it is differing from the previous one? So the term is given by Rogers. Innovation decision process basically tells that it is a process through which an individual passes from first knowledge of an innovation to forming an attitude towards the innovation, to a decision to adopt or reject, to implement and use of the new ideas, to confirmation of the decision. So how it is differing from the adoption process which we just saw? Wow, it became a new, like whole new process. Because earlier we in the theory, when they were developing in the older times, see, innovation and adoption of innovations is one of the very oldest concepts which is developed through many years. Okay, so initially they were telling that when you introduce a technology, this is the stages through which a person adopt it. So they didn't consider, at that time they didn't consider the chances of him to reject an innovation in between. Okay, we cannot say that when you introduce certain things into a society, suppose in your school we are introducing about our platform, we cannot expect that every person will be adopting the technology, right? So there is a chance at any point of time that one person can adopt it, person can reject it, and even after adopting for some time, after sometimes they can choose to discontinue it. So all this process also involved in this adoption decision process. Okay, so generally we say the process is KPDIC model. You might already know KPDIC model. This is the short form of the innovation decision process. Okay, so what you mean by each? K means the knowledge. So one person is newly introduced to a knowledge, to a technology or an innovation. So there are three types of knowledge: awareness knowledge, how to knowledge, and principles knowledge. Awareness knowledge, you are just getting to know about it. How to knowledge, how the system, how the innovation works. And principles, what is the foundation or the fundamental principles underlying the working of that innovation. So different types of knowledge is there. And then the individual goes to the stage of persuasion. Persuasion means you will be persuading. So here the individual forms a favorable or unfavorable attitude. So you get to know about this platform. So there's a chance that you say, oh, it is good. They are taking classes. It's good. It's a favorable attitude. Also, they can say, oh, no, there is no need. I can read by myself. So that's kind of an unfavorable attitude, right? According to the innovation. Okay. So favorable or unfavorable attitude will be developed at this stage. And we can say, see, this is the stage where as an extension individual, we can persuade the people. So the perceived attributes of innovation are important at this stage. Perceived attributes of innovation, which we saw before, the relative advantage, the complexity, the observability, all these are important in persuasion stage of innovation decision process. The thing is, everybody will be knowing the KPDIC model. I think all of you must be knowing about the KPDIC model. What is the expansion of KPDIC, that also you must know. But what the chance of they asking it directly will be less. Okay, so what they can ask is like, in which stage rejection occurs, in which stage discontinuation occurs, in which stage the perceived attributes of innovation will be more important. Okay, so that is how in persuasion stage the perceived attributes will be much important. Okay, so if it is easy to like, if the person feels that it has a relative advantage, he will form a favorable attitude, right? So that is about persuasion. And then the decision stage. Here is the decision stage. So decision is basically a choice, right, to adopt or reject an innovation. Okay, like you go to know about this platform and you might like develop a favorable attitude. Still, you have a choice whether to take the course or not take the course. So you have a choice to adopt or reject the innovation. That is the decision. And if you are trying to reject the innovation, it can be active rejection or passive rejection. Active rejection means you are actually considering it and then rejecting it. You go to know, okay, there are some people who are taking the classes, but still I don't think that I need to like pay to get classes. I can read by myself. So you have actually considered and then you reject it. Whereas passive rejection is like you just don't get to know about the innovation anymore. It's like, oh, I don't need it. Without considering properly about an innovation, you are rejecting it. That is the passive rejection. So there is active rejection as well as passive rejection. Okay. And next stage is the implementation. Implementation is where the person, yeah, sorry, we have to study something else after the course. Yeah, definitely I should say this is a rapid revision, definitely. So all I'm trying to do is telling the very important portions which can be asked in the examination. Definitely this is not like a complete covering of your syllabus or like a complete lecture of whatever generally what we take classes. So this is like compressed form of all the courses in this class only. Generally adoption of innovation itself, it will take 2-3 classes. Or like sociology and rural sociology, psychology is a very big chapter. I think in the regular course it took nearly 5 to 6 classes to finish. So this is a very elaborated portion, but these are like the very common portion which used to ask again and again. So just to familiarize this, definitely you have to read the textbooks or like the short form, the comprehensive books, whatever you are referring now. Don't go for like too many other books or like too many new textbooks and all at this point of time. Whatever you have read or comprehensive books also and MCQs which you already done, that thing you can revise when you are studying. You can give a little emphasis on this portions. That's it. Okay. Okay, yeah, as I told before, the PYQ series also will be conducted by either me or Ridisha. Either one of us, of our members, will be continuing with the PYQ series of both extension and economics. Okay. Okay, so okay, we were talking about the implementation. Implementation is where the individual actually started to implement the innovation or implement the technology. And then there is the comes the reinvention. Reinvention, the term is given by Charter and Pellegrin. Okay, reinvention term is given by Charter and Pellegrin. He told that like reinvention is a process in which the innovation is modified by a user to make it suitable to his own conditions. I'll say an example. Generally, like when we take classes in live classes and all, many students will join in the recorded sessions. Why? Because they will, I think they will be keeping it in 1.5 or 2x and all, and they will be listening in a very fast manner. So why did they do that? Because that is the thing that is suitable for them. So this is a kind of reinvention for them. So you will be getting in a normal video which is playing, and then you will be changing the speed of it. So you are changing the innovation according to your needs, make it suitable to your own condition. So that is a kind of reinvention, right? So that is the implementation stage. Reinvention happens only, you can reinvent something when you are implementing, right? So it happens in the implementation stage. And then final stage is confirmation. Confirmation, the individual confirms that I will be continuing to make use of this particular innovation. That is the confirmation stage. So in this stage, the individual tries to avoid the state of dissonance. So what do you mean by dissonance? Dissonance is the internal disequilibrium or uncomfortable state of mind of an individual. So once you decided that I will be continuing with this innovation along, then the individual don't want any dissonance, means he don't want to think more about that, whether this particular thing is making me more in like costing me more, whether it is benefiting me more and all, like whether the particular innovation is giving the what I want it from that. So these kind of thoughts will create a disturbed state of mind, right? So the uncomfortable state of mind or internal disequilibrium will be developing. So in confirmation stage, the individual try to avoid the stage of dissonance. There is a concept of cognitive dissonance. That concept is given by Festinger. I think you might be familiar with Festinger name in the communication chapter itself. Okay, so he has given the concept of cognitive dissonance, where the individual feels uncomfortable state of mind about the innovation. And also in the confirmation stage only, discontinuance also happens. Discontinuance means, as I told before, even if you have taken adopted certain innovation, there is a chance that after some time you feel it is not good, then I am leaving it. So that is the discontinuance, a decision to reject an innovation after previously adopted. Okay, so discontinuance can be replacement discontinuance, because maybe some other new technology came, so that I am replacing it. Or it can be disenchantment discontinuance. Disenchantment discontinuance means they are not satisfied with the results of the previous innovation which is adopted, so that they are discontinuing it. Okay, so there are two types of discontinuance. Dissonance also occurs in the confirmation stage. I think in some of the textbook, if you are reading, there's a chance that some of the people asked me, the discontinuance is a decision to reject an innovation after previously adopted, right? So this, when you see this or remember the term of decision, you may think it happens in the decision stage. It is not. It is happening in the confirmation stage. Only after you implement, then only you will get to know whether it is good or bad. Then only you will be discontinuing certain thing. Okay, so this is about the KPDIC model of innovation decision process. And the one more important one, that is the adopter categories. Adopter categories, if you are asking like, I don't have any time to read anything, which portion should I read? That is the adopter categories. Okay, every year, I think every year there will be a short question from this adopter categories. So it is very easy to learn. Once you learn it, you can answer every question. Most of the time it will be like the match the following question will be there. And what is adopter categories? So adopter categories, this is basically a classification of the members of the social system based on their innovativeness. So I am telling, in your class, maybe 50% of the people have already adopted, maybe maybe 70% of the students have already adopted. So how we are classifying the students of your class according to their innovativeness? In the similar way, how we are classifying the members of the social system. So what is innovativeness? Innovativeness is like up to in what degree you have adopted an innovation compared to other members of your class. Okay, similarly, innovativeness is the degree to which an individual is relatively earlier in adopting new ideas than other members of a system. Okay, if I go to know about this platform who is taking the class, so I just enrolled in it. So I can say that I am relatively much earlier than the other members of the system who adopted this idea. Okay, so in the same way, you can see we have 5 categories: innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. This is a bell-shaped curve. Okay, this is a bell-shaped curve. When you keep the frequency means the number of the individuals in a society versus the in adopting the technology in the time period, when the time goes. Okay, so we can all know, I am telling that this is a very new pen, you have to buy it to you all. Maybe 60 people are watching this at this point of time. I am saying, so maybe 5 or 10 people will be suddenly thinking that, okay, I can buy, she's telling it is good, we can try it. So that the percentage of people who are directly adopting a technology will be very less. They are known as the innovators. Innovators will be very less, 2.5%. And when I was keep on explaining it over 1 hour of time, maybe some other people will be adopting, and later from them another people will be buying. So when it goes after some point of time, what happens at the end of certain time period, there will be only few people left who think that I have been writing in my whole life with the same other pen, so I don't want to change this pen for anything else. So they will be called as the laggards. Okay, so what you have to remember is the percentage, how much each category comprised in this social system. So innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggards. It will go like 2.5, 13.5, 34, 34, 16. You have to memorize it. There is no other way. Because almost every time the same question comes. How much percentage early majority is there in the social system? 2.5, 13.5, 34, 34, 16. You have to just remember the name in an order and the percentage also. And then you have to understand some of the key characters of each category. Okay, so innovators, as I told, they will be very eager to adopt a new technology. They will be venturesome. Venturesome means they will be very adventurous. They think that they have the ability to take up risk. So definitely when you buy something for a price, or like something by giving your money or time or something, there will be a certain risk involved, right? So they are the venturesome people, and they are considered as the deviate from the society. Generally, a society don't accept people who are taking like undergoing sudden changes. So they are considered as a deviant, good conduct with cosmopolite people. Definitely, if you are the one who first adopt a new like pen in your group, which means that you definitely have a good you might have seen it from somewhere else, maybe from the social media or from the like any other mass media methods and all. So which means that you are cosmopolite, you have more connection to the outside world, outside of the locality. That's why you are adopting something new, right? So that is they have good contact with cosmopolite. They are also known as, there are certain other names of innovators. They are known as the lighthouse, gatekeepers, ultra adopters, high tires and all. Okay, these are the other names. They are known as gatekeepers because they are the people who take certain technology outside of the social system into the social system. Even if I am, maybe nobody listens to me, but I took a risk and I started using a new pen which has never been used by anyone else in your social system. So that's why they are known as the gatekeepers also. Okay, and then we have the early adopters. Early adopters are important because in that category, the opinion leaders comes. Opinion leaders is a very keen concept in extension. So opinion leaders comes in the early adopters. They are known as the respectable. So they take the technology which is already used by the innovators, and if that is satisfying to them, then the people will go to them and ask whether this is good or not. So opinion leaders are the people who will be giving opinion leaders, though they became leaders by like virtue of their opinions. So people respect them, and they, if they tells that this technology is good, I have tried it, then the early majority, like the other people, start to like adopt it. Okay, so this is the respectable people, that is the early adopters. They help to trigger the critical mass. I think 2-3 days before in our group, WhatsApp group, there have been a question came whether the critical mass, who triggers the critical mass, whether it is the early majority or the early adopters. So the answer is early adopters. Okay. And then the early majority. Early majority, they are known as the deliberate. They are the our friends and neighbors. If the sarpanch, village sarpanch, or some headmistress of a school, these people can be considered as opinion leaders. Okay. If they are saying that if it is good, then I can try it. So they are the people like the friends and neighbors generally. So they are neither very early nor very late. Okay, they are not late, but they are not early. They don't want to take much risk. So they take the technology, and if that is also going good, then only this portion, that is the late majority, they are known as the skeptical and cautious. They will be always cautious about the new technology. If majority, if this many people are adopted, then only they think that okay, it's okay to adopt, then this late majority will be taking adopting the technology. And finally we have the laggards. Laggards are known as the traditional people, like I have been doing the same thing for over the all the years, and I don't want to change. So they will be very stubborn. The high dogmatism. Dogmatism means very stubborn in nature to adopt any new things. And like their point of reference is past. Point of reference is past means they always say, in my time it was like that. In my time I got a lot of yield from that variety. Why would I take a new variety now? So that is the laggards. So this is a very important portion from your exam, for your exam, and certain terms related with it, that is innovation decision period or gestation period. Oh, one second. I think I forgot to tell you. This is a bell-shaped curve, right? So when frequency was plotted against time, then it is a bell-shaped curve. When you keep the cumulative frequency means one after another it is adding up, then it will become a S-shaped curve. Okay. If it is a cumulative frequency against time, then it will be a S-shaped curve. So there are two types of curves in this adapter categories. One is bell-shaped curve, that is the normal one, frequency against time, and then bell-shaped, then S-shaped curve is there where cumulative frequency is added. So when you see this at the end, like we can see initially only 2.5 people adopted, and then 13.5 also added, and then 34 also added. So it is like adding up. Cumulative means adding one after another it will be going. So it will be a S-shaped curve. Okay. And then there are certain terms associated with it. One is innovation decision period or gestation period. So basically how much time it takes to adopt a new innovation. Length of the time required for an individual to pass through the innovation decision process. So all the KPDIC what we were talking, how much time it will take from the K to the C. That is the innovation decision period, also known as the gestation period. So definitely we can understand the earlier adopters. So definitely they started early, right? So it's not early adopted, I should say this is earlier adopters. Earlier adopters means the innovators and early adopters and all these people who are relatively early in adopting, they have shorter ID period than the late adopters. Okay, so when you read this text book sentence, sometimes students when come like who is having the least innovation decision period, who is having the least innovation decision period, that is the innovators definitely, then comes the early adopters, then comes the early majority. So it goes like that, right? So they say no, we have seen in the text that early adopter have shorter period. Is it like that? No, it is the earlier adopters, which includes the always the innovators also, includes the early adopters also, early majority also. So all the people who comes in the earlier adopters, they have shorter period compared to the later adopters. Okay, then we have the term rate of adoption, which means the relative speed with which an innovation is adopted by members of the social system, which okay. Then over adoption is also a concept. Over adoption means the when an individual or a society they adopt a certain innovation in a rate that is not supposed to, within a rate that is not advised to them. Okay, so for example, tube wells are very beneficial for the farmers if that is an arid region, if water is not there. But what happens if they are over adopting it? They started to build each and every borewell for every farm. So what happens? Then overuse of that will cause the lowering of the water table. So this is a consequence of the over adoption. Okay. So I think one time the question came as statement also, lowering of water table due to excessive sinking of tube wells is an example of what? In I think they added area also in Punjab or something. Okay, so the answer is over adoption. And another concept is consequences of innovation. So what happens after you adopt certain technology? Then what happens after that? So then there are three types of consequences. One is desirable versus undesirable, which is desirable means functional effect. You have to remember the alternative name. Okay, so desirable means whether it is giving a functional effect or not, versus undesirable effect or a dysfunctional effect. Like they advise like the extension officers advised you to take up certain chemical fertilizers in a proper way, so that your like yield will be more, or like your pest infestation will be reduced. That is the functional effect. What is undesirable or dysfunctional effect means when you use chemical fertilizers over, like in the overdose, it may harm the soil. Okay, it can be a dysfunctional effect or undesirable effect that we will get after that. Then there is direct and indirect. Direct means an immediate response. Okay, I am using a nitrogenous fertilizers like I am NPK compost mixture, so I am getting an immediate response, immediate result of high yielding of all the tomatoes. And what is the indirect effect means as a second order result of this direct result. Okay, as a direct result of direct consequence, what happens? So I produced, like me, many of the farmers produced so much of tomato all on a sudden. Then what happens? There will be market glut will be happening. So much of tomato at a time is producing, so that the market price will goes down. So that is an indirect. From the direct consequence, what happens? That's a second order result. That is the indirect one. Okay. Also, we have the anticipated or manifested or intended result, and the unanticipated or latent result. Or see, the thing is here you have to remember the other names. Okay. When I ask functional effect, what it should be, whether it is desirable or direct or anticipated. So you have to select the like the other names from this. Okay, just remember. And then one more term, that is a critical mass. Critical mass, or known as a social threshold. Say for example, if it is a number of the people, uh, the point at which the enough individual have adopted the innovation, so that the further the adoption process will take, or the rate of adoption becomes self-sustaining. Say for example, you have taken 10 of your batchmates has taken bought a new pen. Okay, so when if this 10 is enough, so that they will tell, okay, this is very good, I have used, and then two more people started to buy, and then another two more people started to buy. So it's like the point at which the number of enough individual have adopted the technology, so that the diffusion will happen very naturally. The rate of adoption continues by your own. I don't need to tell that this is a good pen, you have to buy, this is a good pen, you have to buy. I can stop after this 10 people have bought, because they themselves will be the cause to continue the adoption in other members. That is the critical mass or social threshold. Okay, generally it happens like at the 10 to 25, 20 to 20% of the adoption. That's where the takes off happens. It's like we told that it's a S-shaped. So the S-shaped, the acceleration portion will happens at the 10 to 20% of adoption. Okay. Yeah, this is a big chapter. I think we have taken nearly 1 hour, because that is an important chapter, innovation and diffusion. And another same thing, like this is not only the content which is covered in the diffusion of innovation. Many things are there, many contents are happening in this chapter. You have to read it, which is a very, very important portion. Okay, the same another thing is rural sociology and psychology actually. So what happens in this chapter is, I think you might already read the book of Instant Extension Education by Shruti, as well as the GL Ray also. Some portions are there, like definitely sociology itself is a big branch of study. You might have heard the entire course is there on sociology. So we will be studying only the new one, like the relevant portion to our subject. Okay, so this is like some portions taken from here and there, that is merged in that book. So there can be chances that you may not understand certain portions. So that's why we will classify all the contents of the portions in basically in the structure of the society. Okay, so before going to that, we'll just have an introduction. We will be having only a glimpse of the rural sociology, which is very important. You have to read the entire, like the textbook, whatever we have in our portion, that we have to cover. Okay, so that the basics are, the father of sociology is Auguste Comte, you might be knowing, and the father of modern sociology is R.K. Mayston. And then the important point is, what is sociology? What is sociology? Generally, when you listen the term sociology, what you will think? So sociology. So it's a study of society, right? But what happens is that it's not only the study of society, but also basically it is a science of human relationship. So in a society, how the people, how the human behavior, like how the humans are acting and relating in between to one another in a society. That is what we are studying in sociology. Okay, it's not only about the society, but also most importantly, how the relationships work, how the pattern of working, what are the roles to do in a society. So all this human relationships is basically studied in the sociology. So we can say society itself is basically a web of social relationship. When there are certain buildings are there are certain people are living. When some random people comes together and standing there minding their own business and going back, that is not a society, right? So there will be certain people living there, maybe for years, maybe moved new. They have certain patterns of relationship among them. They have certain groups of their own. They behave in a way. So all this, the web of a relationship is basically called as the society. It's not an area like square area in which people and buildings are there. It's not. Okay. And the basic unit of society is family. And the rural sociology is originated from the USA. In USA, the basic studies of regarding rural sociology has started. Okay. So first we have to see what is a society and what is the structure of society. So actually, when you are saying if you have attended the master course, you might have known that whatever we are studying in the rural sociology course, basically based upon these two things. One is the physical structure and the social structure of society. All we are seeing, okay, whether it can be the like how the villages are situated, how the like rural settlements means the household and the farm and the other buildings, institutions are situated, whether about the population and all, or like the family or the education or the groups or the values or the customs, everything comes actually based upon this structure of the rural society. So basically we can say there are two structures of society. One is physical structure, which is the tangible entities. Tangible, I'm sure some of you might be more comfortable with the Hindi language, of course, definitely. But the class, as in class, we will be continuing in the English only. So at any point of time, if you are not familiar or if you cannot see, understand any words in the PPT or in what I am saying, you can definitely keep in the chat box. I will be clarifying it. Okay. Okay, so the tangible entities means material entities in the rural society. They are the physical structure, which includes the pattern of rural settlement, how the societies are settled. Okay, it can be isolated farmsteads. Maybe, for example, Malabar coast in Kerala, certain generally the estate or the like plantations and all are isolated farmsteads, which means there will be a farm around the home. It will be the home will be in the middle and individually the farm will be around it. So another person will be living in another place. So it's like isolated farmsteads. And definitely there will be another villages. Villages model is that all the buildings and farm and all will be together, whereas the farms, all the farms will be together in another place. So that is a village. So in between, these are clearly two opposite things, right? So in between, many pattern of settlements will be there. There can be line villages, circular villages and all. So these are different types of rural settlement. And then rural resources and the population. Population means the people, the demographics we say. The study of population is known as demographics, right? Demographics. So demographics, rural resources, it can be human resources, it can be natural resources and all. So the resources, these all are the components of physical structure. And coming to the social structure is basically not something tangible, not something that you can see, but they are the interrelated institutions, agencies and social patterns, as well as the status and roles with each person assumes in the group. So this is basically, see, you have joined in a group, you have joined in a study group. So there will be certain roles to each and every one of them. Some people say, okay, today I will be making questions and I will be teaching you and all. So there will be certain roles. If like I am in, if we are considered as a group, then I am supposed to teach you, right? So that is my role. So that status will be ascribed to, like given to, in addition to like in response to my roles which I am performing there. And there will be certain institutions associated with whatever like in a group is having. So all the institutions, agencies, patterns and as well as the status and roles. See, this is also a part of the structure, social structure in a society. The status and roles of all the peoples, this is also a part of the social structures. So there are basically 5 different components we can say. One is institutions, organization, ecological entities, groups and collectivities. So this is the basic like 5 elements. The institutions, I think you might be like familiar. This is basically a crystallized form. Institutions are a crystallized form of the rules and regulations which is supposed to give a certain to meet basic needs of the society. Okay, we can say educational institutions are there. If you are thinking religion is an institution, okay, politics is an institution. So they have certain rules and regulations which is more or less fixed so that they are functioning to meet certain basic needs of the society. That is institutions. And then we come to organization. Organizations are mostly some more specific in nature. They will be acting in order to attain certain specific objectives. Okay, so certain specific needs of the society, that will be more focused and more narrower in scope, as well as they will have certain hierarchical structure will be there. So that is organization. And then we have certain ecological entity. Ecological entity means regarding their habitat where they are living. It can be neighbors, it can be a region, it can be a community, based upon where you are living and up to what extent you are engaging with the other members. Okay, so ecological entities. And then groups we will see in detail. And then collectivities is like a group of people that coming based upon a stimuli. See, you are watching a movie in a theater, so there will be like 100 people who you don't know. They will be coming randomly, and they all came there because there is certain stimuli. The stimuli, movie is a stimulus. Okay, so based upon that stimulus, the people gathered there. And when the stimulus is over, when the movie is over, the people will go back where they are belong to, right? So that is a temporary gathering of the people based upon a certain stimuli. Okay, so that is collectivity. There are different types of collectivities. There can be mob, there can be crowd, there can be like audiences, public audiences will be there. So they are different collectivities. Definitely I don't have enough time to say about each and every component of the social structure, but just understand this is the 5 components. Okay, now we will see some of the portions which is coming under this. That is important thing is family. Family is basically a group defined by a sex relationship sufficiently precise and enduring to provide for procreation and upbringing of children. So the basic function of family is the procreation and socialization of children. So they are the one who it is a group in which the children are born, and procreation means they will be born and raised according to social. So how it is relevant in a society, because in the family the process of socialization starts. So socialization means, see, I know I have to wear a formal kind of wear when I come to any platform, like it can be a class, it can be an interview and all. So where I am learning it, when how I know that I have to eat with my hands, where from where one in another part of the society they know that they have to eat with a spoon, right? So this kind of the cultures, the values and beliefs and all, which is following in our society, which is followed by in our culture. So how I am familiarizing with it. So that is the process called socialization. Socialization starts from the family. In the family, the basic function is procreation, bringing up the child, as well as making them socialized. The word family is derived from the Roman word, and the basic unit of extension work is family. Because generally we say when you take a farm or a farmer, it's not only the farmer, but the whole family is directly or indirectly will be involved in the farming. I think in the principles we say the family, the principle of family, right? We have to consider not only the farmer but also the whole farm family. So that's it. There are then the important question that can be asked from this is the types of family. So there are basically different types based upon the blood relations living together. If it is just the father, mother and their children, unmarried children, that is a nuclear family. If it is more than that, it's a brothers and like brothers and their spouses along with the fringe of spouses, if they are living together, they are known as the joint family. Okay, if many number will be more. Nuclear family is seen in urban societies, whereas joint families are seen in the rural societies. And then based upon the stage of life. Stage of life means the family of origin or family of orientation, and the family of procreation. Origin means where you born. Where you born. Family of procreation means where you have where you have lived after that. Okay, it may or may be the same or may not be the same. And then numerous of husbands and wives. This is not actually what happens in the society at this point of time. It's not happening, but still in the when you're studying the types of family, you have to understand this also, which have been practiced in many of the areas of different parts in India. Okay, so polygynous means more number of wives, right? When one man marries more number of females, that is known as the polygynous family. And in the ulta, that is when one woman marry more than one man, that is called as polyandrous family. In some part of the tribal parts of India, it has been practiced. Okay. And then according to rule of lineage. Rule of lineage means where you are keep the inheritance. Patrilineal family means you decided to keep maybe in some, still in some of the societies, when the father is like passed away, the whole of the properties will be transferred to the son only, right? So the in the side of the son only, the son to his son, like that it will go, the patrilineal family. Whereas rule of lineage will go to the matrilineal family, means the inheritance and the inheritance will be passed on the mother's line. Okay, that's the matrilineal side. And then the rule of residence. Rule of the residence means generally in Indian societies, the patrilocal family will be followed. That the after the marriage, the kids and all will be they will be living in the side of the father. Patrilocal. Patri means the father side, and matri means the mother side. Okay, so after the marriage, the children all will be upbringing in the patri side, or the father side, and in some other, very rarely in some other families, it will be on the mother side. Okay. And then the group. Then coming to the next concept, that is group. Group is a unit of two or more people in reciprocal interaction or communication with each other. Okay, so it's a basically two or more people. So there will be interactions will be there, or interactions or communications will be happening. So in group also, the classification of group is very important, especially the primary group and secondary group. So in basically, when you are saying what is the basic difference of a primary group and secondary group, is that there will be a we feeling will be there, a personal intimate feeling will be there. That is, just think about an example. Whenever you don't remember the exact points of any of the classification, just think about any example of that particular group. Okay, primary thing, when you heard, just think about the family. So in family, we have a we feeling. We know that these all people are related to me. So there will be a personal intimate feeling will be there. And generally it is considered as a small size, and it will be relatively permanent in nature. This is not something that I can join and can live in between, right? So this is something that is permanent with me. And then the relationship, whatever the relationship in between, will be informal in nature. And basically as in primary groups and all, the closeness among the members will be high. Okay, you can just think about the example of family. Quite contractory one that you can see in the secondary group. Secondary group will be large in nature. So whatever the intimate relationships you have will be impersonal in nature. Impersonal means it will not be a direct contact, or like very direct personal connection will not be there. Instead, you are coming there to accomplish certain objective. So it will be impersonal. You don't need to be seeing directly to them. And then it can be temporary. Secondary group can be temporary. We don't say that it will be definitely temporary, but it can be, because say for example, think about a cooperative society or political party. Certain parties will be like stay for very long time, but generally up to what they want. So the secondary group will be formed to accomplish certain tasks. So once it is done, there is a chance that it can be gone. Okay, so among the primary and secondary group, the basic difference is the we feeling. Primary group has the we feeling and secondary group does not have. There will be always an anonymity prevail. See, I am working as a part of this aggregate team, but there are people still I am not sure about that. Okay, I don't know all the members of all the subjects, maybe all the people who are working there. So there is always a kind of anonymity prevails. But whereas in regarding, if you are taking my own family, including the father and mother, we know everyone, we have this feeling also. Okay, so in just like that, you can think of another two concepts, that is Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. Okay, Gemeinschaft is a society in which most relationships are traditional or personal in nature. Okay, Gemeinschaft, so it is like a primary group society. Okay, it's a society in which most of the so relations are very traditional or personal in nature. If you are taking the rural societies like before time and all, so there they will be having will be number of people will be less. Whoever is there, they will have a good contact to each other. Whereas the exact opposite is in Gesellschaft. Gesellschaft is the relations in that society will be contractual basis. Okay, so there will be bargaining will be there, negotiations will be there, clearly defined written agreements will be there. So it's like we call it as hard boiled. Whatever we need in a contract basis, that will be achieved. Okay, for example, we can say urban areas, and so you can think, see, when the terms are like too much, there are too many terms are there in sociology and in adoption and diffusion and all to remember. So try to keep whatever codes which is likely to you. Okay, just like that, I used to always get confused in the Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. So just think that in Gemeinschaft, when you say there is a my my term is coming, right? Gemeinschaft. So I used to think my, when you say something is my, means I have a personal or like a traditional or personal relationship is there. So that is in Gemeinschaft. Whereas in Gesellschaft, you can see a cell. So selling, buying, also kind of contractual or like a mechanized form that you can see in this Gesellschaft societies. Okay, and these are some other types of groups. It can be formal or informal. I think I don't need to explain it much. Formal will be very organized, whereas informal will be among your friends or play groups and all. And then you have in group and out group. In group is that the person feel that they belong and identify themselves. So the or whatever happens in that particular group will be confined to the group only and shared to the group and confined to the group. Okay, say for example, if I am joining in a like a group of teachers or the mentors, so I am completely feeling that I belong there, and I can agree with whatever the values and opinions of the groups and all. So I identify them there, and whatever is important is happening, it will be shared among the members inside to all. The exact opposite is out group. Out group means if I am going to a group of professors in a college and all, maybe even if I have joined new, I may feel like, okay, I am not feeling as someone as in the group, I feel as outsiders. Okay, I cannot agree with their values, I cannot agree with their beliefs and all. So and also the matters of vital means like the important concepts or the interest things may not be shared among all of the people. And then involuntary and voluntary. Involuntary means individual does not have a choice like a family. I didn't choose to be in my family. That is what involuntarily I have been a part of. Whereas voluntary means cooperative society or youth club, where I can choose whether I have to join or not. And then there is reference group. Reference group means a group with which the individual feels identified, the norms and objectives of which he accept. Okay, so it can be any group, whether I am in a part of it or I am not a part of it. It can be any group that I feel like it's much good, like I can agree with whatever they are saying, so that I will be accepting what they are preferring to do. So for example, a family reference group may influence a farmer to accept or reject or practice. Okay, if it's a very dominant farmer community or a farmer family is there, means many people might have seen them as a reference group. So if they chose to adopt certain technology, this other people also can be adopting the same technology. So that is the reference group. Okay, now we have certain terms. One is socialization. I told before, process by which an individual is conducted into his or her social and cultural world. Okay, so social is the process of socialization started from the day an individual born. Okay, when you are in very small childhood itself, you will see that how your parents are dressing, how your parents are eating in a way, or how they are behaving when some other people in the society are coming, when they are behaving when you are going out in a public place or in a temple or in a church or somewhere. Okay, so this all happens from the day of the individual born till to the end. Okay, it's a lifelong continuous process that is happening, and it starts in the family and it continues in the educational institutions. For socialization process starts informally in the family and formally in the educational institutions. Okay, And then we have the social system. What do you mean by system? System is an in a set of interrelated units that are engaged in joint problem solving. Okay, that's the social system. And then we have the social roles. Social role is nothing but the expected behavior of one member of society in relation to the other. Generally I'll say, generally in a household, when you are taking a very traditional Indian rural society, generally the father or the male person is supposed to go outside and work outside and earn money. Okay, whereas the mother or the female person in the family were supposed to stay in home and look after the kids and take care of the household chores. This is the conventional roles, right? So there are certain ascribed roles as well as achieved roles. Ascribed role is assigned by the culture and society. Example, household head. So for example, see, when you are taking a traditional rural society, this will be the condition. But when you take an any like semi-modern or urban, peri-urban or urban society, this will not be the side case. The both male and female must be working there, so we cannot give a clear cut position as a household head to the male alone, right? So that is the ascribed role. It is according to the culture in which you are living. And there is achieved role. Achieved role is the one which is earned from the society. So for example, elected leaders, I have done so much work in the village, so that I want to do this, I can do this role of a leader. Okay, that is an achieved role, something earned by the individual. Then we have a important concept, that is social stratification. Social stratification is the arrangement of individuals or groups of people into hierarchically arranged strata in a community. Hierarchically arranged strata. So it's like, see, whenever you go to a society, in every society, whether it is urban or rural, you can say, oh, they are having a very high status. So that high can be coming from many, based upon many factors. Okay, if you are going to a society like urban society, mostly it will be based upon their occupational position, in what position they are giving in an occupation, or in what, maybe about the income and all. But when you go to another society, maybe they will be giving education as the important thing. So whoever having the higher education, they may say, oh, they are very high status people. Whereas the people, whether they don't have any money also, they may say, still they are in the higher strata of the society. Okay, it can be different. The social stratification happens as a consequence of differentiation and evaluation. Differentiation means, first, say for example, you have 10 people in the class. So first you have to evaluate them, like differentiate them. I am taking 5 people who are having high scores and high people who are having low scores, and then evaluating. Evaluation means, I am saying, okay, only the students with high scores only I consider them as good, like high position in the class. So they will be coming in the higher strata. Strata means different levels, higher strata. So it is according to my evaluation. Okay, so according to each society's evaluation, the criteria, based upon that, first they will be differentiated and then be evaluated, and then will be put in different strata. So putting people in different strata is known as social stratification. Okay, the basic form of social relationship here is the class and caste. So what do you mean by class and what do you mean by caste? Caste is something, you know, that when you are born itself, the family in which you are born. So the ascribed or form birth and which cannot be changed is the caste. Okay, so if you are living in a society which values the caste as the basic for social stratification, then there is nothing that you can do, right? You cannot change that. When but whereas the class is decided based on economic conditions. Okay, so if you are living in a society where they are valuing the class, which means even if you are born in a family without much financial condition, but by your work, by your hard work, you can achieve certain things and you can move from one class to another. It is possible that you can move from a lower social strata to higher social strata, or vice versa also. Okay, in opposite also. So the movement of the individual from one stratum to another is known as the social mobility. That is what we called as social mobility. But if it is based on the caste, we can't do that, right? So no matter how much, whatever I am doing, the caste is something that is ascribed to my birth, so that which I cannot be changed, but that is not in the case of class. So the social mobility always, if you are in a pyramid, if you are saying, if you are belongs to the first class, there is always a chance that you can go. If it is the mobile, that is called as mobility. And if it is a vertical mobility, means you can either go up or down to the strata. Okay, if I work hard and if I get a more make a better financial situation of my family, then I can say I moved up. It's a vertical social mobility. Whereas horizontal social mobility is like, say I am working, if in case I am a teacher in a particular college or lecturer in a particular college, if maybe I am changing to maybe equal, maybe I am changing to an equal position in some other place. So I am not changing any caste, I am just moving in between. That is the horizontal mobility. And there is as well as geographical mobility also. Geographical mobility, you will be moving from one place in the society to another place. Okay. And then this is the social interaction. There are see, as we told, there are so many ways in which people, in which the society are will be interacting to one another. Okay, so there are certain patterns in which they interact to each other, that is commonly known as the social processes. Okay, there are mainly we can say there are 5 social processes are there. So process is like the social interaction which assumes a repetitive pattern in a specific direction. One it's a general kind of pattern or repetitive pattern which goes in a specific direction. That is a social process, which we can classify into 2. One is conjunctive social processes and another is disjunctive social process. You can understand, if see, if any 2 people have a different opinions, what happens? You can work in a way which the opinions of both the parties are included and accommodated, or like getting in a good way. Okay, it's not that they are going to in the different ways. The both the opinions and opinions of 2 parties are agreed upon, and then moving forward, that is a conjunctive social process, which is in a positive manner. The patterns and interactions which goes in a positive way, that is a conjunctive social process. Whereas in disjunctive social process, the patterns relationship between the 2 parties will be in a way that which result in a harmful ending. That is a disjunctive. At the end, they will be going in the 2 different directions. Okay, disjunctive. So the social process which comes under conjunctive processes are, it can be cooperation, accommodation, or assimilation, where 2 people maybe sometimes they in cooperation they may be just understanding them and then working together in to solve certain problems. Or accommodation means they accept that their point of view is also relevant, even though they are not completely agreeing, they understand that okay, their point is also valid, just go like that. Okay, accommodation. Assimilation in the way that you are mixing, sometimes some immigrant people will be coming from other places which with another culture. Okay, so after sometimes what happens, even though the culture of the existing society and the like immigrant society are different, sometimes they started to incorporate some of the elements of the other culture also. So assimilation happens. And then in distinctive means it can be competition or conflict, like they don't agree at all among the 2 people. If sometimes they will be they want to reach at a ending where it is harming the other one also. Okay, so the different social interaction, social processes are there. Mainly we have 5 processes. 3 are conjunctive, a cooperation, accommodation, assimilation. 2 are distinctive, that is competition and conflict. Okay, and then we have regarding the culture. Okay, culture is also one important portion in sociology. So what do you mean by culture? Culture is the complex whole which include knowledge, belief, art, moral law, custom, and other capabilities and habits acquired by the people as a member of society. Okay, see, I was born and brought up in Kerala, so there will be certain things which is it can be certain knowledge which I know about the region, or it can be certain beliefs, religious beliefs also associated with that my society, and art forms. Okay, moral laws, what is good and what is bad, moral laws, customs, and all will be there, which is associated only acquired by me because I am a member of a society. That is the culture. Okay. And the smallest unit of culture is known as the cultural trait. Say for example, dhoti or sari. We have, like in Kerala, we have a golden like bordered sari with the cream color one. So that is considered as our own cultural trait. Okay, so that is the smallest unit of culture. So when different cultural traits comes together, that is known as the cultural complex. Okay, so it's like a, for example, a thread ceremony in a Hindu society or like a Hindu family. Okay, so there will be many acts will be happening. Some will be priest might be there. He might be doing some pujas and all. So this a whole group of related cultural traits is known as cultural complex. Okay, and then a group of cultural complexes is known as cultural patterns. So for example, when how like a family is conducting a whole marriage. Okay, so it can be many small, so maybe in the day before and at the day and after the day. So many different cultural complexes will be confined together to form cultural patterns. Okay, so this is the components of culture. And then we say some terms, that is cultural lag. Cultural lag means the time difference between some technological change and a resulting change in culture. At a time when these computers were introduced in our society, many of the societies refused it because the in our culture, maybe doing everything manually and all were given more importance. So when computers were involved, many of the people didn't capture it. Okay, like they didn't want to accommodate with the particular invention or a particular technology. So what happens, some part of the society took about that computer and they started to work among that, whereas some part of the society didn't, or they couldn't, maybe they couldn't afford it and all. So there is a difference happens when uh, technological change is introduced and the culture is getting adjusted to that. That is the cultural lag. And then we have the cultural inertia. Inertia means, I think you all studied inertia in physics in schools. Inertia means the resistance to change by people in a culture. When you introduce certain things, then definitely they will say, no, in our culture we don't make saris by machine, we will make in handloom only. So that is a cultural inertia. Whatever they are used to do with that, they want to do the same for so long. Okay. And then we have certain informal rules of behavior based upon the habit and tradition. We can say that is a folk way, maybe folding hands when you see certain people, maybe bowing down to look at another. So that is like informal rules of behavior based on habit and tradition. You are some part of the country in India itself, some part will be eating with the hands, in some part we will be eating with the spoons. Okay, so there are certain behavior based on habit and tradition, that is folk ways. And then we have the socially accepted way of behavior that involves morals. The term itself says the mores, so which involves certain morality when we included. Okay, when you want to stand, when you listen about a national anthem and all, so that involves with your, deals with your morality, or the morals are involved, that is called as mores. And the things, mores are more strict in way that ought to be done, that is what is expected from you as a member of a society. Okay, so the things that are not ought to be done is called as taboo. Taboo is the opposite of more, which is not expected from you. Okay, and the mores, when they are codified, the codified system of mores is known as laws. Okay, so earlier in societies, the most will be enough, like the society, in the society people know that this has to be done, this has not to be done. Okay, then what happens when the number increased, when the society became large, or the society became more like mobilized and all, it is not possible to punish or reward everything based upon just the mores. So then these mores only made into a more codified form, that is the laws. Okay, so when you violate the laws, there will be high punishment from the society. And the established behavioral pattern of the members of a social system is not, society is known as the norms. And when we have the leadership also, I think yeah, leadership is also a big component in a rural society, because whenever as an extension personnel, when you go to a place, there is always a need for leaders, because you cannot access to the villages directly when, if you don't know any kind of leaders in that place. So we will be first contacting to leaders. So in leadership, actually, we have to see the types of different leaders. Okay, so it can be autocratic or authoritarian. Autocratic means the person who takes all the decision by himself. For example, Hitler, he don't consult with anyone, right? So he will take the decision without consulting the others. And the opposite is democratic. Democratic means the all the decisions or the like opinions will be shared with all the members, and the decisions will be taken in accordance, collecting the opinions of all the people. That is a democratic way. And then we have the laissez-faire or free rein. Free rein means it believes that if you leave workers alone, the work will be completed in a better way. So the laissez-faire or laissez-faire or free rein leaders, they think that if you leave everything for themselves, they will do in a better way. Leader seems to have no confidence and withdraws him from the responsibilities. Okay, and then we have professional leaders. Professional leaders means they have specialized knowledge or expertise. So for example, subject matter specialist in every subject in ICAR, we have subject matter specialist in entomology, in pathology and all. So they are like, they became act as a kind of leader because they have specialized expertise. Okay, then there is lay leaders or volunteer leaders or local leaders. Lay leader, volunteer leader or local leaders. So they may or may not have any specific training. They are paid for their work. Okay, they volunteer. Volunteer means I chose to be that leader. Say for example, youth clubs president or Gram Sahayak or Gram Sati and all. They were like, they may or may not have the training, but they, and also they will be getting paid for whatever work they are doing also. That is the lay leaders. Okay, and there are many other types of leaders. That is, traditional leaders will be there. Traditional leaders, they emerge out of tradition and stick to it. Okay, and they will be static. Example, tribal chief. In a tribal chief, I think there was one question in JRF where they asked, they gave different types of leaders, and they asked who among these leaders emerge out of the tradition and stick to it. Okay, uh, one second. Yeah. That is traditional leaders. And then we have caste leaders. Leaders means by virtue of their caste, maybe in society certain caste will be dominating in nature, so based upon that they will become leaders. And we have religious leaders. In the same way, political leaders will be there. Opinion leaders or legitimizers. For in case of extension, we have the most important as opinion leaders. They are also known as legitimators. Legitimizers means they will be taking up certain ideas and then they will be screening them. Okay, whatever feels good to them, that only will be conveyed to the rest of the society. So they will be taking up and screening it and will be giving to the people. So because they have the ability to do that, they will be considered as leaders. Opinion leaders, their opinions are valued. And then functional leader, based upon whatever the function they are doing in the society. And then nominal leader or ornamental. Ornamental means like any ornament, like you are wearing, why you are wearing, it's not for any specific function, but just for a for the namesake or a nominal sake or an ornamental way, or also known as figurehead leaders are also there. So they held the elective positions, but they do very little work. Okay, so but do very little about the initiating action. This is the type of society. So rural sociology, as I was saying, is a very big, very big chapter, but we have to get a glimpse of all the portions. These are the portions: the culture, the society, and the structure of the society, family groups and all are very important. And this is like the very minimum thing that you should study about rural sociology. Okay, now we have the psychology portion. Psychology is not that much important. In fact, actually, I think in the last few years, very few questions comes from psychology, but still you can have a glance of it. Psychology, basically, we can say science of human behavior is called as psychology. Okay, the act of behavior has three aspects, that is cognition, affection and connection. I think you might have learned already about the Bloom's taxonomy, right? In the learning taxonomy. So in the same way, when we talk about the behavior, it has three aspects, that is cognition. Cognition related with the Knowledge, the thoughts, belief and ideas about something is cognitive. Thoughts, belief, ideas, whatever happening in your brain. Okay, that knowledge related things are called as cognition, whereas affection is feeling or emotion that something evoked is affective. Okay, whatever I am, how I am feeling it. Okay, I am thinking that I should attend this class. So that's my thoughts, and I'll have an idea that okay, they will be taking class and all. That is the cognitive part. And I'm thinking that okay, that might be good. It will be good for me. Like makes me release a little bit of pressure from my side. So that is a feeling or emotion that is known as the affective part. Whereas the tendency or disposition to act in certain way, that is the conative. The conation part is known as the psychomotor part, or we can say that is where we are like started to act. Okay, I can do this way, so that I am acting in way. The act of behavior, the third act of aspect of behavior, we can say that as conation. Okay, and yeah, we already told psychology, it's a science of human and animal behavior. It's the same only, just for you to understand. One concept is that covert behavior and overt behavior. Okay, covert behavior is something that is expressed inside of you. For example, symbolically, when you are adopting certain things. Okay, I understand that somebody is coming and teaching is a good thing. I understand that it's a good thing. Okay, it can be practiced. So that's like a covered behavior. What is overt behavior? Overt behavior is something that is expressed outside. Okay, I know that it's good. Maybe I started to take some classes, or I started to learn from somebody who is taking the class. Like some like solid actions are coming out of it. Okay, material adoption. I actually started to take the technology and use it. That is the overt behavior. And some terms are there, as in case of psychology also you have to remember. One is personality. Personality is what we'll say, oh, his personality is very inspiring. Some when say celebrities like or like some great personality, when you see like Mahatma Gandhi or Ambedkar and all, we say their personality was very inspiring. So what is a personality? It's a sum total of one's experience, thought and actions. Sum total of one's experience, thought and action is known as personality. And there are three types of personality according to Guilford, that is introvert, extrovert and ambivert. I think when this newly this Instagram and all came, you might be very familiar with the terms introvert, extrovert and all. Introvert is something or someone who want to who likes to do the activities by himself. Okay, so he get the satisfaction when he stays away from the other social system, that is the introvert. Whereas extrovert is some people who, like in your class also, somebody will be there who is talking to everyone else, who talks to teachers, who talks to the cleaning staff, the administrators, students and all. They will be very happy. They find themselves when they are connecting with the outside people or the other people. They are the extrovert. So who come in between, they are the ambivert. Okay, so that is personality. And coming to attitude, what is attitude? Attitude is a, I think from the starting, the fundamentals of the like extension itself, we will be seeing the attitude, which is a mental state of readiness organized through experience, exerting a directive and dynamic influence upon the individual's response to all the objects and situations with which it is related. I know it is a big definition. Basically, it is what? It's a mental state of readiness. Attitude is a mental state of readiness. Based upon that, the individual respond to certain things. Okay, if it is a favorable attitude, I will be acting like I will be buying the pen, and that is a favorable state of attitude. Whereas if it is unfavorable, which means that it will affect my response, I say it is not good. I may get angry, I may I may be shouting. So the emotions and all will be associated with the response. How I am responding will be depends upon the attitude. Okay, attitude is not innate or inborn, but formed as a result of individuals' contact with the environment. Sometimes they say, see the child, he has a lot of attitude just like the father. Is it a correct statement? No, because it's not innate or inborn. It's completely based upon the results of individuals' contact with the environment. If the child or the like children see the parents in a like long time, then there's chance that they may develop certain attitudes. Okay, towards people, towards certain objects and all. But if they are born in entirely different environment, the attitude also will be different. So that's why in extension also we are trying to change the attitude of the people, so that they will be so that it is changeable first of all, and second, based upon that they will be acting to what towards the technology and all. Okay, so attitude have direction. It can be positive or negative or unfavorable. Okay, and then another term is prejudice. What do you mean by prejudice? Prejudice, when you listen the term prejudice, you can think of prejudgment. Prejudice means prejudgment. Prejudgment means you are making a judgment before due examination and consideration of fact and based on certain assumptions. Okay, like for example, earlier in like in rural like earlier times and all, there has been thought that we can say, like whoever students who studied in the state board of schools, state schools, they didn't have much knowledge. Okay, so it's a just like some random person is telling, okay, just seeing them only you can understand, they don't know anything. So that is a judgment. Prejudgment means judgment without any exam. He don't know how their scores, he don't know what they know, he don't know how teachers are teaching and all. Just you are making certain assumptions because maybe they are not in a very colorful uniform and all, so they just come out of that. So people will be making assumptions like that without proper due consideration or due examination. That is known as prejudice. So when this prejudice happens for a long time, then certain fixed images will be there in the society. So that is called as the stereotype. Okay, stereotype is a fixed images formed in one's mind about people, practices on the basis of experience or attitude. So like repeated prejudice will lead to stereotypes. See, suppose my grandfather used to tell to my father that, okay, see see, you can see, one time I saw the students from the government school is fighting so much, so I don't want to send you there, so that your behavior is will become bad. So what happens, the father also thinks in the same way, and he tells the same thing to his son also. So when it goes on again and again, when the same prejudice is keep on happening, repeating, then what happens, whenever you go somewhere, when you see a student of the government school, you may just think that, oh, they're just from government school, it is not good of anything. So that's just a stereotype, or stereotypic images are there in your mind. Is it correct? No, it cannot be correct all the time, because you have not evaluated perfectly. There are certain people who say that, see, the women are there, so they definitely she will be driving very slowly. Okay, in a road they will be driving very slowly and they don't know how to drive. Some people say like that, right? So so it will be a judgment before examining anything, before due examination. When this prejudice get repeated, there can be stereotypes. Then certain things, that is a defense mechanism. Actually, it is not that much of important, but you have to understand because it's a portion, important portion in psychology. So when you know what is you mean by frustrated, I am so frustrated, which means frustration is a condition in which an individual perceives the wish goal is blocked or unattainable. Why you are becoming frustrated? I wanted to finish all this chapters, maybe 5 chapters today, but I cannot finish that. So definitely I get frustrated because I didn't get what I wanted. Okay, so to overcome the frustration, there are certain mechanism by which our body, our mind will work together to overcome that. That is the defense mechanism. Okay, so there are different types. One is, I'll just say one after one. One is rationalization. Rationalization means unconsciously explains the situation by explaining that I never re, I never did really wish to achieve the goal. Okay, so for example, you haven't studied. Okay, suppose I'm saying you haven't studied anything for the examination, JRF examination, and you didn't get much rank also after. And then you are saying, it's okay, I didn't want to do in extension or economics, so it's fine only, I don't, even if I don't get rank also, it's okay because I never wanted it. So that is like, I am unconsciously, I am thinking, in my mind is unconsciously thinking that it is good that I didn't get. So it can be two types. One is sour grape mechanism or sweet lemon mechanism. Sour grape means, you might have heard the story of a fox who tried to get grapes from a tree, like which in a height. So he tried a lot of times, and at the end he didn't get the grape. So he told that it's okay, anyway the grapes is very sour, I didn't want it. Okay, so what happens in the sweet lemon mechanism? Sweet lemon mechanism is like, you didn't get the grape, you got the lemon instead. Okay, so you can say that, oh, it's good that I got the lemon because I am in the second prize. I got the lemon. It is very sweet in nature. My mindset to my telling to me that whatever you got, maybe the lemon which you got, which is not intended to get, but still it is very sweet. So it is good that I didn't get actually what I wanted. That is a rationalization. Okay. And then there is aggression. Aggression is caused by the frustration of dominant motive directed towards the other person. Some people will be there who will be breaking the glass, breaking the doors and all, because they couldn't do what they wanted to. That is aggression. And then identification. Identification means some father, like father figures will be there who says that, see, who know, I am like a collector because my father became a collector. So they lives through the achievement of others. That is the identification. I identify through other people. Okay, my many of the times they say that I couldn't be a doctor, so that I feel all the kind of, like all the satisfaction when my son or my daughter becomes a doctor. So that is also a kind of defense mechanism. Okay. And then projection. Projection is that uh, uh, that you are transferring the emotions and ascribing the source to another. See, when you write an exam, you came out, you couldn't write it well. Maybe many reasons will be there, and then you will say, my pen was not good enough, so that I couldn't write it better. Then whoever said the question, they said the questions which is very bad. That's why I couldn't write it well. So these are the things you are trying to blame, push your blame to someone else. Like it all happens unconsciously. Okay, it happens. That is the projection. You are trying to push out whatever you have done. Might be your mistakes also. You try to blame some other thing. That is the projection. And it can be blaming another person for or non-existent factor like the pen, and it's so one's own fault is found at another one at a greater degree. Okay, it's like I failed, but I failed by 10 marks, but you failed by 20 marks, so I am much better. So even though both of them are failed also, you are thinking that my failure is better compared to the failure of another person. So these all are types of projection. Okay. And then fantasy or daydreaming, you might be thinking, okay, when I get rank, I will be happy, I will be dancing there, all the teachers will be coming and congratulating me and all, when actually you haven't do certain things. Okay. And it can be compensation also. Compensation means an attempt to overcome or neutralize a deficiency by inferiority. Like you will say that it's okay, even if I can't do this, I can do another thing. I can write another exam, and I will be going performing well in that. Or it can be like sublimation means in substitution involving a moral consideration. It's better that I didn't write in this exam, like maybe I can try for UPSC, which is like a much more morally good feeling, helping the people and all. So the different you are trying to compensate or try to overcome things with one another. Okay. And it can be regression. Regression means going back to a less mature level of behavior. Sometimes you see the very adult people, when they are when they didn't get certain things when they want, they will be crying, they will be behaving like very childish way. Okay, so it's also a kind of defense mechanism by the mind, where they go back to a less mature level. Okay. And there is also repression. Just the thought of you lost also will be suppressed by your own mind. That is the repression. Okay. And I think the theories of learning is also there. Psychology of learning. The three theories of learning are very important. One is the classical conditioning theory by Pavlov. And the classical conditioning occurs when a conditioned stimulus is coupled with an unconditioned stimulus. I think you all might have already read it, because there was a conditioned stimulus. There will be, it is an experiment involving a dog. Okay, so a dog, when you give a food to a dog will be producing saliva to eat the food. Okay, they are unconditional stimuli and unconditional response. But what Pavlov did, he started ringing a bell before every time he giving the food. Okay, so the bell was a neutral stimuli. Neutral stimulus means it has nothing to do with the dog before. Okay, so whenever they started to give the food, the bell will be rang, and definitely this dog will come, and dog will see the food, and the saliva start to produce from his mouth. Okay, so after some time, what happens, whenever the dog listens the
bell, he understood that then the food will come. So automatically his mouth started to produce saliva. So after that, only even if the food is not there also, only when the bell is rung, which means that becomes a conditional stimuli. That is a conditional stimuli. So based upon when the bell is ring, automatically the dog start to produce saliva. That is the conditional response to that. So that is the classical conditioning theory by Ivan Pavlov. So he told that classical conditioning occurs when a conditioned stimulus is coupled with an unconditioned stimulus. Okay, unconditioned stimulus was the saliva production. So when the food is there, but after that the bell became the conditioned stimulus, and then in response to the bell, the dog started to produce saliva, which is a conditioned response. Okay, so that is a classical conditioning theory. And there was also operant conditioning theory or instrumental conditioning theory. So it says that yeah, it is actually proposed by Skinner. Okay, Skinner. So it says that the behavior is sensitive to or controlled by its outcome, and therefore explaining that learning occurs as a consequence of behavior. So always see, you are attending a class. If it is your regular class, if it is in your like coursework and all, what happens? The teacher will ask you to turn on the cameras, right? So if you don't do that, what happens? If you don't do that, maybe she kept an absent. So based upon what is the outcome, from the next class onwards you will be turning on the videos and you will be attending the class, right? So it says that the consequence, the based upon certain instrument, the learning will be conditioned based upon the behavior is sensitive to the outcome, and then learning occurs as a consequence of the behavior. So that is the operant conditioning theory or instrumental conditioning, based upon any instrument. Okay, instrument can be punishment, it can be reward also, it can be punishment also. Based upon that, how the learning is occurs. And then we have the social learning theory by Albert Bandura. Albert Bandura. So social learning theory says the individual can learn by observing what happens to other people and just by being told about something, as well as by the direct experience. You don't need to teach someone to happen. They can learn by seeing the others as well. That is a social learning. You are learning from the society by observing what the other people are doing. Okay, so that is a social learning theory. Yeah, I think it's 2 hours. So this is actually the two important portions, the rural sociology as well as the diffusion and adoption of innovations. And one small chapter is also there, that is the program planning. It is very easy, and it's a small chapter only the very few concepts you need to understand. It's a like it's a subject that anytime you can study at the day before also very fast. So extension, what is extension program? It's basically a statement of situation, objective, problems and solutions. So not situation, solutions. Okay, SOPs. SOPs is like a situation, objective, problem and solution according to Kelsey and Herney. That is the program. So what do you mean by situation? Situation. So what happens is that most of the time from the extension program planning, the questions will be about the terminologies. Okay, it can be the basic things. You know this term, but you may not know the exact wordings of that. So just be careful about that. Okay, situation is a statement of affair that include the cultural, social, economic and physical condition in which people find themselves at a given period of time. Everything is important. Every word in its definition is important here. The situation is actually what happens, what is the current state at this point of time. That is the situation. And then three things you have to remember. One is the aim, objective and goal. What is aim? Aim is the generalized and broad statement of direction with respect to given activities. Say for example, if we are saying increasing the production is the aim of the government. It's a very broad, very generalized statement. When you come to objective, objective is expression of end towards which our efforts are directed. This is a very repeatedly asked questions. Okay, what is the expression of end towards which our efforts are directed? That is the objective. Okay, the objective of the government is to increase the like production of wheat from 5 to 10 quintals in this within maybe the 5 year and all. So that is like an objective, increasing the production from 5 to 10 quintal of the wheat. That is very, that became specific, right? It's not like a broad thing like increasing the production. It became specific. That is the objective. And then we have the goal. Goal is the distance in any given direction one is expected to go during a given period of time. In goal, always remember the time is the important thing. So I am saying that I want to increase the production of wheat from 5 quintal to 10 quintals within 2 years of time. Okay, so time is involved, sir, so that it becomes a goal. So which one is broader in nature? Uh, Aim is the most broader in one. An aim, a single aim consists of many objectives, and goal is a part of an objective. You can just remember as Goa. Okay, goal is the smallest one, objective is the bigger one, and aim is the broader one, biggest one. Okay, many objects make an aim, and goal is a part of an object. Remember, goal is a part of an objective. Okay, then there are certain things, the plan of work and all. I think before going to that, we can see this one. Yeah, this is the extension program planning step, which is very, very important. This is the basic thing that you can remember. Remember the extension program planning steps. Okay, this program planning steps have two phases. Two phases, that is program determination and program implementation. Two phases and 8 steps. It has 8 steps and 2 phases. Don't get confused. Okay, 2 phases and 8 steps. Each phase has 4 steps each. Okay, so first one is program determination and program, second one is implementation. So when you take the program planning process all together, it is an educational process. Okay, it's a unifying and integrating process. Many the task, the content, the people, the time, everything should be coordinated there, and it's a coordinating process, and it's an evaluating process. At the end, we do evaluation also. Okay, so what are the steps? First, we will start. Whenever you think that you are an extension professional, you are going to village to implement certain program. Okay, so first what we should do? We should collect the fact from the people. What is the current situation, we have to take that, and then analyze the situation. Collect the fact, then analyze all that, and identify what are the important problems happening there, and based upon the problems, determine the objectives and goals. Just that we have seen, objectives and goal you determine, and develop plan of work and calendar of operations according to the objectives and work. What we have to do, that is a plan of work and calendar of work, and follow through that plan of work and calendar of work. And then you have done that, and then you do the evaluation of the progress. When you do evaluating that, if you find it good enough, then you can continue, or if you don't find it some shortcoming for that, reconsider and revision the program. So these are the 8 steps. Okay, now we'll see what is the plan and all. So plan is a predetermined course of action. Whatever you have to do, the people, the content and all, everything should be according to the plan, right? So the plan is a predetermined, already determined course of action. It's also known as a blueprint for action. Based upon the plan, we will be acting. Okay, so what is plan of work? Plan of work is actually an outline of activities arranged to enable efficient execution of the program. Okay, so whatever, see, first today, to take this class, first I have to fix the topics, then I have to make the PPT, then I have to tell them that I will be taking at this point of time, then I have to come here, then I have to take the class. So it's like an outline of activities arranged so as to enable efficiently the plan is executed. Okay, so there are 5 W and 1 H: what, where, who, whom, and why, and how the things should be conducted. These all will be included in the plan of work. Okay, and then there is calendar of work. Calendar is generally denotes the time period, right? So calendar of work is nothing but it's a plan of activities to be undertaken, yeah, in a particular time sequence. So we can say the extension work grew out of situation. Yeah, here. And certain project management is also an important portion here. Okay, project management means project, we have seen about extension program. So what is a project? Project is a subset of program. Project is a subset of program to solve a specific development need. Okay, in your class also they will be giving certain projects so that it will be it will be based upon maybe one subject, maybe one task, about one methodology and all. So a project is a subset of program to solve a specific development need. There are certain project management techniques also. One is Gantt chart. Gantt chart is nothing but it's like a bar chart only, developed by Henry Gantt. Okay, so it can be used for scheduling of activities, for planning and scheduling of activities. And we have two things. One is CPM and PERT, critical path method, and program evaluation and review techniques. Very, very important. These two portions should be studied in, no matter how. It's like very basic things only, but still you have to understand. So these both are project management techniques. These both are networking techniques as well. Okay. So CPM or critical path method is given by M.R. Walker of DuPont and J. Walker of Remington Rand, and it is developed around 1957-58 period. So it's very useful for basic management functions of planning, scheduling, and control. And it is activity oriented. See, the most of the times they can ask about the difference also, how it is differing. Okay, it is activity oriented and it is deterministic in nature. Why we are saying it is deterministic? Because it is based upon only one time period, time estimate. Okay, it has only one time estimate, and it generally estimate the cost time trade-off, the cost and time. See, it is basically, they are the techniques to check whether the activities in the programs, whether they are going according to time or not, whether they are making use of the cost in an effective way or not. So these are the things that we will be checking. So in CPM or the critical path method, we will be checking the cost time trade-off. It is generally used in construction programs. Okay. Whereas in PERT or program evaluation review techniques, it is developed by US Navy for Polaris Fleet Ballistic Missile Project. Okay, so it started in around 1958. So this is used in the project involving in a non-repetitive nature, and it is probabilistic in nature. Probabilistic in nature because it has three time estimates. And finally they will be calculating the expected time to finish or conduct a certain project, or in a certain activity to be conducted. What will be the expected time? That will be calculated. So that's why it's probabilistic in nature. Okay, so the main focus here is on the time, how much time it will be there, how time can be managed and all. Okay, so PERT will be used in the defense and research areas. Certain terms are there related with that. It is not like that much difficult to understand all. You can just have in your instant extended education, if you have all the things are given just for your understanding. If anyone is taking the PDF, then you can refer it for more. Okay, and finally we will finish this one with this participatory approaches. Participatory approaches are in extension. When you are taking the evolution of extension methodologies, we can see earlier they used to be top down. Top down means only the like the officers or the expert used to go to the villages, and then they will tell to the people that you have to do this variety, you have to do this fertilizer and all. So that is like a top down approach. Later we understood that that is not how it works. You have to get the feedback from the farmers, you have to involve them in every process. So that is how participatory approaches evolved. You will be involving the farmers or the stakeholders or everyone in the the user side. They also have to be included in designing the programs. Okay, so that is about rapid rural. There are many participatory approaches. The important one, definitely the important one is RRA and PRA. RRA is rapid rural appraisal, PRA is participatory rural appraisal. Okay, so rapid rural appraisal, it's like basically you will be going to a village in a multidisciplinary team. Okay, certain terms are important. Multidisciplinary team will be there, and they will be getting some information from there. So how it is differing from participatory rural appraisal? So here the people will be going, and we will make the people to understand what is their problem, and the people will themselves find the solutions, and they will analyze their problems, and they will be coming up with the solutions. Okay, so in rapid rural RRA, the key resource is local people's knowledge. Whereas in PRA, it is the capability of the people, how well the people can analyze their own problem and how well they can solve the find the solutions. Okay, and then RRA is extractive in nature, whereas PRA is facilitative in nature. I am sure some of you might have difficulty with the oh god with the like learning and all. uh, okay, extractive means, see, I will be asking to the people to get some information from them. That is extractive in nature. Facilitative is like I am asking them, you identify what is your problem and how you can facilitate. I am encouraging them. That is facilitating in nature. And so some of the thing I think you have to remember is RRA is the quicker method. You can fastly get response in RRA, whereas in PRA it will relatively slower, because you are making the villages, you are making the farmers to analyze themselves. Okay, so here in RRA the insider side will be respondent in nature, whereas in PRA they will act as the analyst or the presenter. They will be analyzing their own problems and they will be presenting their own problems. Okay, in RRA, the outsider or the extension agent or any expert, they will be just an investigator. They will be going, they will be asking, they will be investigator. Whereas in PRA, they will be act as a catalyst. Catalyst means they don't actually involve there, but they will facilitate the functions, whatever it is happening there. Okay, so that is the thing of RRA and PRA. And PRA is somewhat important. You have to understand the concept is given by Henry Ford and father is Robert Chambers. The father of PRA in India is Neela Mukherjee, and basically the term originated in Kenya. Okay, there are certain principles associated with PRA, that is optimal ignorance. Optimal ignorance means when you go to village, maybe you might have gone and related with your Rave and all. When you go to a village, people start to tell about a lot of things. So optimal ignorance is you have to get only what you want to know and ignore all the other things. Optimal ignorance, and go for diversity. Seek information from all the people, men, women, marginalized farmers or small farmers and everyone. Offset the biases and all. Should not be any biases. And always triangulation. Triangulation means cross checking. Always when one person said, don't think that that is whatever that one person says is always correct. Always think that there is they should be cross checking the fact with some other one. And listening and learning. The term which is very related is handing over the stick. Handing over the stick means the stick is considered as a symbol of like authority, right? So earlier the experts used to have the stick, which means they used to have the authority. Then we are handing over the stick to the villagers, or they have the authority to analyze and find and their solutions. Okay, and many tools are there like transect work. You go across the village, you walk across the village, and whatever you are seeing in the side of that walk path, you will be analyzing it. And then Venn diagram or chapati diagrams, we say it will be like overlapping circles regarding, it can be a person, it can be an institutions and all. So depending upon how big the circle is, how much overlapping the circle is, you will understand how is their relationship with one another. Okay, and these are some other type of participatory process. PANR, participatory appraisal of natural resources, participatory learning and action, participatory action and learning methods. You just need to remember the names. Okay, much in-depth questions from this portion will not be coming, so just think about the participatory action research and all. So this is all are some of the new and evolving concepts in the participatory research. Now also participatory approaches are coming. Okay, yeah. So this is I think I have taken 20 minutes more than expected. So this is our social sciences mock test bundle. You can still, you have one more month left to practice the mock test and all. The more you practice, the more better it will be for you. So you can still you can buy the mock test bundle. It is available for 399 now. You will get the PDF of all the marathon series also in this along with this mock test bundle. And if you are preparing for 27 or 28, we have courses for that also. So once you see all our classes which is in YouTube or from your friends and all. Try to understand what is going on here, and you analyze your own levels also. So if you find it is useful for you, then try to buy all this. Okay, so I think this is it for today. This the two chapters which I have discussed, innovation of diffusions and rural sociology, both those chapters are very very important. You have to read it. Okay, then I'll see the questions also. How much marks? See, it is not always depends upon the marks. Okay, it is completely depends upon how tough the examination is, because last year I think according to yeah, last year the question examination was very tough. So even the top rankers also got, I think, very low marks only. So if the examination is tough, then there is no point in telling how much marks you will be needing to get to any IRA or NDRA or anywhere. So at this point of time, don't get worry about your scores and marks and all to get in IRA or any other place. Just try to attend maximum uh, sure questions, and try to reduce your negative marks and all. Practice in a way. If you feel like the exam is tough, then try to not try to guess so much. If you feel like the exam is easy or easy, is it moderate and all, you can try guessing a little bit more, because you will need more marks there. Okay, the notes here, the notes cannot be uploaded. So if you are purchasing the mock test bundle, then you will be getting the PPT as well. Or if you are a master's course student, then definitely you will be getting it. Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you for today. Thank you for listening. We'll continue with the rest of the chapters in the next class.